Hello, hello, hello. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventures. Today we're going to talk about something. Hey, the dollar to peso rates 58.19 as of today. Today is Thursday, Thursday the 29th. So, what is high wages here? What can a person come here and live on $2,000 a month? Can't come here and live on $1,000 a month or $1,500 a month. No matter how much money you have, you're going to spend it no matter what. I can tell you that for an example. No matter how much money I have, I always seem to spend it, whether it's here or USA. So you have to be on a budget. You have to watch, especially if you're retired. That's one thing I've learned. Being retired, there's not like I had multiple sources of income. Being retired, there's only one source of income, and if you have another income and you lose that income, you're in trouble, right? So here's something I want to talk about. We sometimes don't really realize how much it's going to cost to live here in the Philippines, what kind of cost factor. Some people say I can come there because I'm gaining 1,100, 1,200 a month. I can come there and live, and yes, you can. The things that's going to be less expensive more than anything else here is service industry, the rent, and things that you have service. The attorneys are going to be cheaper. The hospitals may be cheaper. The dentist is going to be cheaper. As far as anything else, it's going to be around the same cost that you're paying in the USA. An example would be the electrical grid system. We're paying anywhere from, right now, the grid here, we're paying anywhere from 15, 18, 20, 22, 24 cents per kilowatt hour. Where in US you're paying 10 or 11 cents as of depending on where you live in the country. So we're paying a little bit more than that. But the average is anywhere from 9 cents to 11 to 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Here, in some cases, it's doubled. And right here where I'm at, where I personally live, it's doubled than what I would pay in USA. I pay double for electric here than I paid in USA. My electricity bill always ran, and it ran 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is 2014, 2015, and I would pay anywhere from $70 to $80 a month. Here I'm paying $140 a month with solar. Some people are paying a lot more than that. Some people are paying anywhere from 8 to 10,000 peso, which is $160 to $200 a month for electric. And the reason I know this, I know someone over here is paying $200 a month for their electric. And that we're talking here in the Philippines. So the cost may not always be the same. Salaries, for example, high income salary here is anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So if someone comes here and they're making $2,000 a month, that's what's considered high income here. That is considered not rich, but almost rich. Now we're going to talk about being rich here. Rich people here are anywhere from what's considered a millionaire is anything over $20,000. If you have anything over $20,000, you're considered a millionaire. If they have income here from $20,000 to $40,000, that's considered upper class. About 1% of the Filipino have that particular income. The rest of the income varies anywhere, depending on what area you live, anywhere from $3 a day all the way up. A farmer here is a ranch hand in the farms who makes $3 a day. A person that works at the bank in town, and I know this because we know people who work at the banks in town, can make to $4 a day and up to $5 a day depending on how long they've been there. A branch manager of the bank that runs the bank, depending if it's a corporate bank or a local bank, can make anywhere from $400 to $500 to $600 a month. Now that's considered, when you get to $500 or $600, that's considered fair to high income. Teachers make anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20,000 peso a month, which is $300, $400, $500, and that depends a lot on their stature and depends if they just started teaching. Now, teachers sometimes will get paid just a little bit more than your average workers here, and a lot of students want to become teachers. The thing that really will offset this is a doctor that makes a standard doctor will make $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month. And the $2,000 a month is pushing it, and that is a doctor that is a medical doctor that doesn't specialize in anything but is a general practitioner. I sometimes forget that. It's easy to spend $1,000 to $1,500 to $2,000 a month here. The reason why is because the cost of goods, because of inflation, because of the dollar rate, has caused things to raise up considerably, and it's put us at a particular level. So what we're paying for now is double, triple what we paid for 6 or 8 months ago. Even for me, when I go to buy beef in town, if it's available, it's very rarely available. It can be anywhere from $6 to $8 a pound. So you get a half a pound, you're looking at $3, $4. Depending on the upper class and middle class, for example, upper middle income class is about $1,200 a month, and that's US dollars. $1,200 a month is something that's upper class, where you're getting $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a month, maybe your Social Security, maybe $16. That is considered upper class. But here's something I want to tell you. You have to be very careful with that money. For example, if you're going to rent an apartment's going to cost you anywhere from $200, depending on where it's at. If it's in a big city, anywhere from $200 and up. Now, you can rent apartments $100 and up, but they are limited on space, and they're limited on whether they have air con or not, and it may not be in a great area. We rented a place here for $100 a month in a great area, but we're not in a city. We're not in a big city. We're not like in Davao or CDO or some of the bigger cities. You will find that you can find those cheaper places to live out in the province compared to living in the city. Living in the city can be quite expensive because the tricycles, the fares of getting a taxi can really be expensive. We were paying before 20, anywhere from 10 to 15 pesos for a tricycle ride. Now it's gone up to 30, 35, and 40 depending on where you're going. Same thing for taxis. Taxis start out at almost $1 to start out on the meter. It's still cheap driving, still cheap giving, but you start adding those numbers up, you're spending anywhere from $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 a month, depending on how much you travel. Now, if you're eating out every day, like I know a lot of Americans do, every meal's outside. There's one guy that I know is spending $700, $800 a month just on food outside, and he has the income to do that. He's retired military. He's getting about $5,000 a month. So he says, Tom, I can afford to pay, $500 a month, because that's what he's paying for his condo rent, and then $800 a month for food out, and that's fine. And he said, I have my vices, cigarettes, and beer, but he's making $5,000 a month here, so. And you can live comfortably on $5,000 a month in the U.S. You can. I lived comfortably on my income in the U.S. before I came here. So, and I'm making the same amount of money. In other words, my expenses, let me put it this way, my expenses were exactly the same amount of money as the income I'm getting. So the income I'm getting is the same amount I'm spending in U.S. Because you take anywhere from electricity is going to be most expensive, your insurance, your taxes, house taxes, and things like that. But remember, I cut back on all that stuff. Instead of living in a 2-story, 3-story house, I lived in an RV and cut all those expenses. So I didn't have to pay $5,000 a year in taxes, property taxes. I didn't have to pay the high insurance of $2,000 a year. So here, we don't have that, but you're still going to spend. You need to have some type of insurance on your vehicles. You need to have some type of insurance. It may require you to get some type of insurance. Now, what they're doing now, they're starting to have what they call fire insurance on properties, and they're asking about that. And they do have that available in some areas. Not all areas have the insurance on that. But for example, also, if you're upper high class income, it puts you in a different bracket, and you can actually live very comfortably on that here. And a lot of Filipino do, because they have farms, and their income averages out to be about $2,000 a month on these farms, because they have a lot of sugar cane and rice and a lot of yield. They're getting a lot of yield out of their dollars. We sometimes don't really realize these farmers are as rich or richer than some Americans, because here where I live, the farms are so huge. And they're getting anywhere from $800 to $1,000, depending on the grade of the cane per load. You can vary also on. I've noticed this too, and I've seen this. where a guy started Sorry Sorry store and expanded it to other things, meaning he had Sorry Sorry, he expanded to food, and it expanded food to nighttime entertainment, and opened up for seating. And those guys are starting to make more money, and that's starting to come into effect here now. You're seeing a lot more of that out here in the province. You're seeing a lot more of a guy started Sorry Sorry. So if you get hungry in the middle of the night, you go to the Sorry Sorry store, which is right attached next door to it, and get food, even at midnight or 1 in the morning, because they stay up that late. The on the other side of the fence, here where I'm at, income of $5,000, $8,000 a month, which is $100 to $140, $160 a month USD, is really, really, really what they consider low income, and people are surviving on that here. So worst case scenario, if you're an American, you know, worst case scenario, if you eat like a Filipino, you can survive on a lot less because they do it, they're doing it fine. You just have to eat like they eat, meaning rice and some type of meat, and some type of what they call a viand, some type of chicken or pork or whatever the type of food that you like. You may not always find the food that you like, and that's a lot of people don't have a problem with. They can go make their lumpia, and their lumpia is basically just a noodle roll, a rice roll, and you roll up something in it. It's like rice bread, and you roll up your vegetables or chicken or whatever, and roll it up and you eat it, deep fry it, eat it. There are advantages to having that, but it's a lot of grease and not as healthy as it could be. Healthy eating is something that they are working on here, and they're really apt about doing that. Are in school, they're talking to kids about exercise. They're talking to kids about actually eating better and not putting all the sugars and all the sweeteners and all the stuff they do in the rice, and putting in the spaghettis and all the sauces and all the things like that, because sugar is king here. As you know, sugar cane, and there's a lot of what they call sugar added to everything here. No matter what you get, where you're at, they always have the sugar. But I wanted to talk about this today. So average income here, average income in Manila. Now, Manila salary is going to vary also. You're going to get an income of about $500 a day, $10 a day, but it's going to cost you a little bit more to live there. So you're paying one thing for another, you know. So living in a province, living simply, or living in the city and surviving there, and your food's going to be a little bit more expensive. A handful of rice costs you 5 peso. A handful, maybe not my hand, but a handful of rice for Filipinos, 5 peso. But and they usually eat that for lunch, and then they eat some type of dried fish or something like that. They bring that, and that's what they'll have for lunch every day. And I see guards doing it all the time at the thing. You know, go get a clump of rice, and they'll have fish, dried fish, a couple pieces of dried fish. And that's what they'll have for lunch. So I have to say that simplicity in life is a rule here. And I've learned a lot about living simple life. I've learned about you don't have to have all the great vegetables and all the great things. You just survive on what you have here. And even when you don't have that, you still survive on what you have here. And even when you don't have that, you still survive on that. Because not every time you're going to go to the market and that fish is going to be pristine, or that chicken is going to be just the best you've ever seen in your life. And the same thing goes for beef, and if you can find it. And beef has always been an issue here. Always. Ever since I've been here, it's been an issue, meaning that there's not a lot of beef, and you cannot get a lot of things that you once could get because of the COVID. Now, milk, for example, they're not producing milk anymore. You can't get any fresh milk. Only thing you get is the boxed milk. And the boxed milk is it truly true milk? Not really, because it's non-refrigerated product. It's, I don't know what it is. I think it's just a powdered drink or whatever, turned water. I don't know what it is. They say it's milk, but it's hard for me to believe that you got fresh milk in a thing and you open it up and there's no seal inside it. You open up every lid of every one of those. There's no seal. They used to have a silver seal over the top of it, so when you open up and peel back the seal, now they don't even have seals on them anymore. So I don't know what that is, but that's what we drink. And so I want to thank everybody for always watching my videos, and thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today. God bless everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.